All right, boys. So it's been about a week since we've done one of these videos. So Man United 9, Southampton 0. But before we start with that, lads, yeah, obviously today, before football starts, we lost Sir Tom today, didn't we? Who passed away at the age of 100. I just want to get your thoughts before football starts, yeah, on Sir Tom, what he'd done, and what it means to people. So, Jam, start with you, mate.
He was a legend, mate. I held him to the same level as Cristiano Ronaldo, Eric Cantona. He's a global icon for me. To do it at that age and what he's done, I mean, 30 plus million, that's just insane. And may he RIP.
Definitely, man. I read today that 2 years ago he was diagnosed with skin cancer. He broke his pelvis, so he broke his hip 2 years ago. Lost his wife like 12 years ago. Eddie, a man who's almost coming up to 100, and in life you get people, you get that. But in life, yeah, you get people who try making excuses to not do things, try making excuses not to work out, to just do the basic things. You got a man here who's almost 100, who's been through it all, even fought a war, and done this. What's your thoughts on him, mate?
I mean, the guy's an absolute hero. He's an absolute legend for what he's done. Although personally, I still think it's very sad that he had to do that. But then again, we've got a conservative government. Should we expect anything less?
Yeah, that's true. That's a debate for a different channel, or maybe this channel, but on another day. But yeah, legend, mate. So rest in peace to the guy. So let's go into some happy thoughts. Jam, me and you.
So just before we start with the happy thoughts, I know this is the first one since Sheffield United, but I just want to condone the behaviour of those fans that have been racially abusing not just our players, but also the likes of Reece James, who I know suffered racist abuse on his social media.
Yeah. Well said, Eddie. Well said. And I think we touched on this the other day, didn't we, Jam? But Jam, I know you was concerned that obviously once we got like a bit of a once we started to slip off in terms of results, you was concerned that this could be like a trend. And then obviously today, I think we was all a little bit sceptical. Eddie kind of said 4-1. We kind of said maybe 2-0, 2-1, but we wouldn't be surprised if Southampton won. Jam, 9-0. What's your thoughts?
I haven't seen anything like it since '95, and I watched that match. I thought probably won't be repeated again. Came close with the 8 against Arsenal, but sending off, I don't think it made too much of a difference. I think we still would have won the match. Obviously, with 9 men, 10 men, we just clinical is one word.
And Eddie, what about you, mate? Yeah, 100% agree with Jam. I think the word there he uses clinical. I know we missed a couple of chances, but it wasn't like chance after chance after chance. We took most of our chances, and yes, against 10 men, we're likely to create more chances. I think you mentioned my prediction that the reason I went for a bigger one was it seemed like a depleted Southampton we were playing today. So that's why I felt fairly confident. But I think the bigger one would probably be against Everton.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And to be fair, against Everton this season, our record's not too bad. But how much of a boost, Eddie, is that 9-0 now going into the next game, going into these future games? Because we was at a point where it almost felt like we received so much criticism off the back of the Arsenal game and Sheffield United, whereas now it almost feels like that's more than a perfect response to all the critics, to all the haters, to all the people that doubted this United team. How much of a boost is that going forward?
I don't think it should be critics up, because I mean they'll point out we were playing as 10 men for all of the match. I mean it was 79 seconds in, and obviously they had another man sent off and we got another couple of goals after that. I think what is probably really pleasing for me is we had different goal scorers, so everyone's confidence has gone up.
Yeah,
Martial obviously came on. We've all stated him on here, especially Jam. I heard he didn't celebrate his 2 goals tonight, but that's down to personal choice. I think the only one who didn't score was Greenwood, who I'd like to have seen score as well. But other than that, it was great to see everyone chipping in, and that's important because it gives everyone a boost, every individual, and especially Mr. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's been absolutely awesome since the criticism he's received on this show. I think he actually watches us, because I think he's taking it on board what we've been saying. At a Jam's motivational speech, and he's obviously moving up a level, which is fantastic to see. And also, Luke Shaw, I think we mentioned a few weeks back as well. I think we're two really good fullbacks at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And Jam, obviously going on to you, what do you think? I mean, first of all, touching upon Martial, I think if Martial, even though he probably doesn't need to win £1 billion, but if Martial was given £1 billion tomorrow, I don't think he's that type of guy to celebrate anyway. But how smart do you think Ale was in terms of his substitutions and man management and the players that he brought in to have an impact, like James, like Martial? What did you think about how Ale managed the game today?
Spot on. Half time, bringing Van de Beek on instead of giving him like 5 to 6 minutes towards the end. It was a good opportunity. 45 minutes under your belt to see what you can do. Kawani, yeah, resting for Everton. Martial near the end, got his 2 goals, so it paid off, didn't he? Wise decision. Dropped him to start with.
Yeah. And how much of a boost, Jam, do you think that will give Martial now? Obviously, because this is probably the most criticism that he's received under Ale based on his recent performances. So how much of a boost is that going to give him?
It should give him massive boost, 2 goals under his belt. But we'll see. Time will tell. He scored a couple of weeks back, didn't he? I think, but didn't take it on from there. So I will have to see how much of a boost he can take from today.
Yeah, and Eddie, how pleased was you with the way Ale managed the game today? And same kind of question to Jam. How much of a boost can that give to Martial? Because we know on his day how good he can be, but he hasn't seemed to replicate that form from last season. So can this be the point where now he does kick on, or what do you think?
I think he will. The thing with Martial, he just scored in fits and spurts. I'm hoping this will be, he'll go on a run of games and score lots of goals. What really pleased me was the way he took his first goal. You can see there was anger behind that shot. There was frustration. And once that came out, it was out of his system. There was a little spring in his step. He had a little chance where he dinked it over the goalkeeper. I think a couple of weeks ago, he tried to somehow get around the goalkeeper. And obviously, he got the second as well. A great cross from Wan-Bissaka. I just hope he does kick on now. I really do. I want the headache for Ollie to be is who can I drop? How can I drop any of these? I don't want him to have that headache. But Cavani has to start.
Default.
Fair point. So talking about Wan-Bissaka, who's obviously a player that we've all recognised one-on-one defensively is immense. His performances this season have been hit and miss. He hasn't been as consistent as last season. But in the last month or the last couple of weeks, it's almost like, from my point of view anyway, I don't know what you guys think, it's like the pennies dropped, and it's like he's just added this dimension now where he gets forward, and hopefully today he gets told by Ale now, a bit like when Ronaldo scored his first headed goal and Fergie said to Ronaldo, look, you need to jump more for these headers because you can score so many more headers. A bit like Bissaka, if he gets in those attacking positions, like the cross, like how he attacks forward, he can be such an outlet for the team. So what do you think? But Eddie, to start with you, what do you think about his performances? What do you think's changed? What more do you expect from him going forward now?
I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said that the pennies dropped, because I'm sure he watches this show. I'm sure he's taken our advice on board, right? He's improved his game by going forward. Defensively, I don't think any of us had any concerns in terms of one-on-one. I think when you're playing against strikers who kind of internet drop deep and stuff like that, he may struggle a bit. But one-on-one, I think he's the best defender we got, and I think he's probably the best in the league. I can't think of anyone one-on-one that you want to be against and think, shit, I don't want to be against this guy. What he's done now, he's added something going forward. And it was always a case of, let's give him time. He's young. Give him a few more years. Let him develop that, going forward side. And yes, he probably hasn't got the best ability on the ball. Even though Michel's finish was pretty awesome, I think most strikers would have been proud of that finish. And he had a great assist as well for Martial's goal. I like the fact that he's getting into the box. And once you're in the box, technique doesn't matter so much. You just hit as hard as you can. And it's great to see that he's getting to the box. He's a big lad, so there's not many wingers who'll track back with him and win the head against him if anything comes to the far post. And it's great to see that he's actually getting into the box.
Yeah, well said. And Jam, what's impressed you about Bissaka in the last couple of weeks?
Just his willingness to get forward and just cross it rather than stop the ball and pass it backwards. Just right position and just whip it in first time. If you can beat a man, fair enough, get that extra couple of yards. Look at Gary Neville. He was a good defender, but his main weapon going forward was that first time ball, first time cross. So if you could do something similar, happy days for us.
Jam, do you think the crossing is an aspect of the game that he needs to improve on? I know he obviously set up Marshall today, but a lot of the time when I do see him cross, it's almost like a drilled cross that goes into the box that gets intercepted or isn't always accurate. Do you think there's an area of his game going forward that he needs to improve? Obviously, he's getting in those areas now, but how can he be more effective going forward, Jam?
Probably when he gets forward, lift your head up, have a quick glance, see who's there, who's making the run, and then put the cross in accordingly. If you see somebody's making the run from deep towards the far post or near post, whip it in. If you see someone's making a timed run from outside the D or whatever, just float it in. But take a look. Don't just randomly make a run, head down, just whip it in, and then random. Just take a look first and then put in accordingly.
Do you think that's something that he needs to add to his game in the final third, Eddie? Composure.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's not a natural ball player like a Trent Alexander-Arnold. Mm-hmm. It's something that he need to teach, get taught, or teach himself, or I don't know what the training regime is. But come on, lads, 9-0. Let's talk about a bit more positive stuff rather than what people can do. Let's see what people have done.
So let's talk about someone who has done something. So Fred made a couple of great forward passes today, Eddie. He has been recently. So Eddie, I've got a little stat for you, mate. So because I know you claim that Fred can't forward pass. So this is a stat that I've got. This is a stat that I've got for you, right? Why when you said on the WhatsApp group he can't pass forward. So this is this season up to the Arsenal game when we drew 0-0. So Fred's pass ratio this season he's made 1,286 passes with a success rate of 86%. Okay, 41% of those are side passes, 16% back, 31% forwards. So to say that he can't make a forward pass, according to statistics, would say that's wrong. And in the last couple of games, he has made some effective forward passes against Liverpool in the FA Cup. Today, for when he put Marshall through for that 7th, when he could have scored a chip. So to say that a professional footballer can't make a forward pass is
5-yard pass. Take that, Carragher.
Listen, stats can prove anything. Stats can prove anything.
But Eddie's eye doesn't lie.
Well, no, hang on. If you look at someone like Frank Lampard and how many goals he scored, is he a better player than Xavi?
Different type of player.
They're both midfielders.
One's a number 10, one's a sitter.
Is he? But Busquets was a sitter in that Barcelona team.
Different type of footballer. Who would you have for the goals? Who would you have if you was looking for a goal scorer?
I would have Xavi because he will create goals
for a goal scoring midfielder.
And that stat about 31% of forward passes. How many of those were into the box to our player?
How many players put in forward passes into the box?
Lots of players do.
Like who?
Fernandes.
Or the player that never turns up and you criticise quite a lot.
Another one, yeah.
The player who hasn't never turned up for a big game and still hasn't.
Who scored against Liverpool the free kick, yeah?
Eddie,
one kick in 7 games against a big team, and suddenly he turns up for the big games.
If you score a free kick, you score a free kick.
In a game he was dropped. Like I said, dropped him the week before.
And in a game he was dropped, yeah. Jam, what do you?
Was he dropped though? Was he dropped?
Dropped. He was rested.
He was dropped. I think Ollie watches his show as well. I think he took my advice and dropped him.
How do you know he was dropped? What's your definition of dropped to rested?
Didn't play the match. It's a big match. It's
so if they don't start, is that them being dropped or rested?
Well, no. It depends who the match is against.
Eddie, I've got one question for you. Are Leicester in a title race?
Eddie, is your brain in a title race today?
Listen, I'll take criticism off you, right? But that guy below you, the one who beat in the quiz last week, I'm not going to take criticism of him.
Eddie, you're calling out a
professional... I don't think so, mate.
Eddie, you're calling out a professional footballer for a 5-yard pass. Come on, what's the real agenda? Did he go to Brazil and he get denied? Be honest.
Your stats are masking the picture. For Fred isn't going to create chances.
He did today, though, didn't he? He created Marshall a forward chance. If you would have scored
one chance. Yeah. One chance.
But you said
in an acre of space that anyone could have hit into.
Eddie,
but
would you
he
take?
can't make a forward pass, so that he's.
Eddie, would you take? Is Matic a better passer than Fred?
Matic is a better passer, but I'll still take Fred in the team because he brings the energy.
So just because of his passing, you'd say he's not what? He's not good enough, or
Read how I said he's not good enough. I said we need him in the squad because we got nobody else like him.
So would you say he's invaluable, a bit like a Kante?
Yes, I think.
I wouldn't say he's invaluable. I wouldn't say he's invaluable.
Okay, but if, for example, Fred, Eddie, if we was playing our biggest game tomorrow or a cup final, would Fred be in your midfield?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make him invaluable. The reason he'd have to play is because we got a fucking shit defense.
So you wouldn't drop him. You wouldn't drop him or rest him.
Now fucking Lindelof's playing. Did you fucking see him today? Lindelof. He was fucking atrocious again today.
Who?
Lindelof.
The Iceman, mate, he's got broken back. He broke his back.
Mate, you know what? He got lucky a few times, you know. I
was surprised Bai didn't play. Bai should have played, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Unless he's saving him for Everton.
Eddie, let's talk about another thing. And I don't know if you guys caught this at the end when they interviewed Rashford. I didn't even realise this myself. No, so apparently today he's overtook Cantona in the goal scoring record for Man United. So I know, obviously, we spoke about this, Eddie, about 2 weeks ago. Like, what has Rashford got to do to go to that next level to become world class? And obviously, the last 4 games pretty much sums Rashford up. Like, world class against Liverpool, inconsistent in his last 2 games, was good today. But what have you got to say in terms of Rashford? What the achievement that he's managed to overtake Cantona? Like, have you got any thoughts on
that? First of all, congratulations to Marcus Rashford, who you know, as you know, I value very highly as a person. He's the captain Tom Moore of Manchester United. Well, he still needs to be more consistent.
Yeah.
And he's got the perfect person in Cavani to see the runs, imagine if Cavani had Rashford's pace, how many goals would that guy be scoring? A stupid amount. And yet he's still I think the last 10 years, only Ronaldo and Messi have scored more goals than Cavani.
That's because he's played in the Scottish League, mate.
Well, we know you've got a hidden agenda.
I'm joking. No, you can't deny it. You even done it in Italy, to be fair. So, yeah, you can't deny it.
Top elite player with elite mentality.
Shame he didn't score those goals against Arsenal, though.
Yeah. Shame.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the open goal was he should have scored. I mean, the other ones were, you know, difficult. Very, very good.
Eddie, one quick question. Arsenal, they dropped points. They dropped points today to Wolves. I think they got. Did they get 2 players sent off today as well?
Yeah. So they got a player sent off in the 45th minute and gave a penalty away. Louise, similar to what happened to the Southampton penalty. And then they got Leno sent off. The ball bounced and he went for a header, misjudged it, and handballed it out. And it was the last man, so they had to send him off.
Mad. And it was a big win for Wolves as well, who kind of needed to pick up a bit of form. Obviously, one of our local teams, so kind of happy that Wolves won.
Well, you know, not really. I think we're West Brom fans on this side of the Black Country, mate. So a Wolves loss would have been a big thing. Did anyone see Martinez's goal?
Yeah, stunning, mate. Stunning.
It reminded me of a young Jam.
I just want to say a big shout out
to the goalkeeper.
Speaking of Marcus Rashford, a big shout out. Thanks for the banana.
Say that all again. Say it again.
A big shout out to Rashford. Thanks for the banana.
Feed the kids.
I couldn't make it to Asda today. I was snowed under.
So is that something that you got provided through like the food schemes or something for the schools? Or
he posted the Royal Mail tract.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Oh my God. All right. So Jam, talking about Rashford, goal scoring record. Obviously, he's overtook Cantona. What kind of achievement do you think that is?
It's good for his confidence. But as Eddie said, convert more chances, make those runs, learn what you can of Cavani while he's here, make the most of it, and hopefully, if he does that, that'll take him to that top level that we know he can get to.
Nice. In terms of the transfer window, obviously it's closed. We saw some players leave Man United. Was you disappointed that we didn't sign anyone? I know obviously Diallo was a pre-signed player from previous window. Did you expect anything? Did you want anything? Or are you just business as usual? Jam, to you, mate.
As usual, I didn't expect us to sign anybody, to be honest. So not disappointed though.
Happy with the players that went?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Rojo had to go because obviously he didn't make it to Everton when he was on last time. Lingard went. I'm just a bit heartbroken that Phil Jones didn't get his dream move away. So.
Eddie, same question to you about the window, and I don't know if you lads seen in WhatsApp earlier. It kind of scared me a little bit. I thought Solskjaer might have been smoking weed because I seen him say something about he's bringing Phil Jones back into the squads, and my heart kind of sunk a little bit. How are you feeling about that? Or do you think he's just trying to value him up so we can get him a move away in the summer?
Just boosting his morale, I think. Just give him that confidence to train harder, work harder, just to get him, positive.
Do you think there's still a place for him in the squad in terms of maybe not the Premier League, but the Europa League games? He could potentially be used in that. Eddie, what do you think?
The thing is, I can't remember the last time we actually played.
It was over a year ago.
I don't know what kind of fitness he's going to come back to. I mean, if he comes back fit and ready and back in tip-top condition, then of course there's a place for him in the squad. I think it will allow us to rest Harry Maguire because Phil Jones is like a brawler rather than an elegant player. So we can probably rest Harry Maguire in the Europa League games. Because I don't think we will trust Harry Maguire, Lindelof and Bailly at the back, will we, as a partnership?
No chance.
No.
I reckon,
sorry,
if Phil Jones comes back ready to go, firing on all cylinders, I think he guaranteed an own goal.
An ugly face.
Yeah, probably some new facial expressions for WhatsApp memes.
Hey, boys, you won't be laughing, mate, when he scores the winner against Liverpool in May. Because our squad is depleted and he comes up in the 90th minute and scores the winner.
Imagine.
You won't be laughing then, will you?
Imagine. And imagine when Fred makes the forward pass and he scores the winner.
And all from 60 yards.
Could you imagine if Fred's the one who crosses the ball in and Joel scores the header?
Mate, I'll be harassing you. I'll be harassing you. Oh, mate, that's bad. So looking forward now ahead to Everton. How do you think the boys prepare? How do you think morale is going to be? How do you think the 9-0 carries the team going into that game now, Eddie?
Who are Everton playing?
Everton didn't. Hold on, let's have a look.
Because they lost against Newcastle on the weekend, didn't they?
Let's have a quick butchers. Everton are playing, I think it's Leeds. Yeah, Leeds United. So they're playing Leeds tomorrow, and Leeds are a hard-working team, so that could put some fatigue within the Everton players. So that could be a good game. But yeah, so they're away to Leeds tomorrow, and Leeds obviously had a great result the other day as well.
I mean, looking back at this season, I think two of our best performances were against Everton when we won 3-1 and 2-0 in the cup.
Yeah.
Hopefully, similar performance, similar results will be good. Will be nice.
And we've got Everton on Saturday as well, so it's not really much rest for Everton tomorrow. After playing tomorrow, so we've got Everton, then we've got West Ham, then we've got West Brom away, Real Sociedad, who have fallen hard in the Spanish league, Newcastle. So realistically, until we've got Chelsea at the end of February, they're all really winnable games. I mean, we've got Chelsea, Man City back to back end of Feb, start of March. But apart from that, the fixtures aren't too bad for us. So, Jam,
there's no such thing as easy games.
No. But they're not too bad. That's all I'm saying. Jam, are we in a title race, or is it? What would you say right now?
Just about.
Eddie's still not having it. So Eddie, obviously, Man City have got Burnley tomorrow, which you'd expect them to win. But then they've got Liverpool at the weekend away at Anfield. Quick question, boys. Obviously, Liverpool are in defensive crisis, and it's kind of funny. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing, from my own point of view, Liverpool, Man City either a draw or Liverpool to beat City just to stop them. Because if they win their 2 games in hand, they'll be 6 points above. and keeping in touch. But what do you think? What do you make of the two signings Liverpool made, the two centre backs? Is it kind of desperate, or was it? Do you reckon it was planned, or what do you think?
Desperate.
Yeah, not convinced.
No.
Nah.
I think what would have happened if they went for a player that was, like a £10 million player.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows Liverpool's situation. Those clubs would have said around 14 million, 15 million, and 14, 15 million on a stopgap, because that's what they would be. Come, summer when Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez, everyone comes back, they're going to get into the team, are they, realistically?
Do you think clubs have genuinely got not a financial crisis, but do you think clubs are wary of spending at the moment due to gate revenue being turned down, not being there? Do you think the financial aspect is a worry for clubs and they're just being smarter in terms of spending?
Yep, definitely. I think you have to lose about £4.5 to £5 million for every home game that they're not playing.
Yeah.
Because they have about 25 games, that's £125 million. That's a lot of money. That is. That's over half the wages of the squad.
Jam, what do you think?
I couldn't care less.
Fair point.
Eddie's the financial man. I just concentrate on United football.
So, Jam, here's a question. Going into the summer, when we potentially look to sign players, do you think clubs in the Premiership who obviously do get the financial, backing of the Premier League, Sky Sports, or TV deals, do you reckon it's going to be easier for them to pick talent from abroad where those clubs are desperate to obviously raise money because they're in financial crisis? Like, can Man U take advantage of that, or is it just going to be free for all for clubs across the Premier League to raid Europe?
I think they'll take advantage because obviously we've got the money coming in. Other teams will obviously need the cash, so I think they probably have to let go of their prize players at some point to get revenue and get some signings.
And Eddie, I don't know if you heard this week about obviously Messi's contracts. Obviously, that got leaked in the Spanish media. How much he's on, it's crazy money. But obviously, at the same time, Barca are in massive financial crisis as well. They're saying debts of almost up to $1 billion. I mean, is this the end of Barcelona for a long time, or what do you think?
Don't Barcelona have like a different model where they have like 5,000 different owners or something like that?
So they've got 150,000 members who are all like shareholders who are in the club, and obviously they elect presidents, don't they? So they've got their election this year. But at the same time, I don't know about you guys, but that club has been poorly managed in terms of signings in the last 6-7 years. Some of the signings I've made. Would it be best for them to get rid of Messi based on how much it costs to keep him, or?
I think he'll go. I think he'll go regardless. When he came out last year, he wanted to leave. It's probably left a bit of a sour taste, and I think he will leave. And it makes sense for all parties involved to let him leave, because it's not just match day revenue that you're losing out on. Obviously, it's almost like a mini economical crisis across the world, so people are not spending as much money. Jam having to reuse his big blades when he shaves his balls and then his head afterwards. So times are difficult for everyone involved.
We've got to recycle, man. It's all about the big.
So I think it makes sense for all parties involved to get rid of Messi.
Jam, if you're Messi, right, and I know Messi's got a bit more hair than you.
No. Hang on. What do you mean if I'm Messi?
Sorry, I know you're better than Messi, but I'm just saying if you was lesser player and you was you was semi-decent like Messi. Obviously, we know he's not as good as you, but
semi-decent like Izzy, yeah.
Yeah, mate, like your brother, yeah, or Serb, yeah. Those semi-decent players, okay. If you was Messi and you was on like so much money, okay, and then the season ends, realistically, only PSG or potentially Man City, a Premier League club could afford him, probably the elite clubs. No one in Spain or Italy. You see, looking at PSG or Man City, do you think Messi has to, at the age of 33, 34, have to lower his standards in terms of expectation of wage, or do you think he still goes in demanding those big bucks? Because, well, what do you think? What's your opinion?
I reckon he demands the high bucks. I think he's got a bit of arrogance about him. Obviously, not behind closed doors. I think he knows he's that good, and he probably still does think he's that good.
What do you think, Eddie?
I think if he goes to PSG, he'll get the money. He'll get the same money because haven't PSG got a contract with is it Jordan? Is it they've got a contract with? Is it Jordan's or is it Nike?
Is it Nike? Yeah, Nike, isn't it?
Nike or Jordan? Because they make their kits, don't they?
Yeah.
And the advertisement behind that brand is really high. I mean, Tox, as you know, buys those clothes, and he's supposed to be a United fan. Wearing PSG clothes, wearing other team clothes is absolute disgrace, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they've got a brand built up there, and it's not just a footballing brand. It's also like a footballing brand kind of mixed over with like a fashion icon kind of brand. So I think Messi coming into that, it's almost like a David Beckham. David Beckham was a fantastic footballer, but everyone knew Beckham the brand, regardless if he knew football, and Messi's of a similar ilk.
That's fair.
If he comes to Man City, he'll have to lower his wages.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, boys. So I'm going to hand it over to you two. Final thoughts, your reflection on today. How are you feeling? Obviously, based on going into this game, any worries you had? So your overall thoughts, your summary, and yeah, final thoughts. I'm going to start with you, Jam.
Great performance all round, but I think it could have happened against Arsenal. They could have come at the blocks like they did today. I think they would have won that game. But nonetheless, 9-0. The morale boost it'll give them is just unexplainable. So let's see how they react against Everton. I'm expecting a win against Everton, by the way. Front foot and to go for it.
And what about you, Eddie?
Yeah, it's good at the office. Let's not get too carried away, boys. Remember what happened last week? Feet on the ground, stay humble. I mean, but yeah, fantastic day in the office. Although I'm seeing Jam's face at this time, it's not really pleasing. But they're the rough with the smooth.
Eddie, one other thing as well. We had your brother on last week for an exclusive. What did you make of that? Was you proud to call him your brother?
I was actually really disappointed because I asked him to go to the shop for me, but he's gone out. But he obviously lied to me. He's on the show with you.
Shocking.
and Eddie, Edge won the Royal Rumble. I know you're a massive WWE fan.
Yeah.
Did you have tears?
It was actually quite a poor show. I watched it with my son. It was his pay-per-view debut, so he's 6 years old. So we watched it together. It was actually quite disappointing. I think without the fans, it's not the same.
Eddie, I heard that you used your son's pocket money to pay for the event. That's shocking, mate.
Mate, he needs to learn. Nothing in life is free.
It's true, say.
and Jam, obviously, you got a little bit of a call out last week from Hafiz. Obviously, he done his exclusive. Any feedback you want to give to your arch nemesis Hafiz, and what did you make of his exclusive?
I wouldn't call him my arch nemesis. There's one foreigner who's my arch nemesis. Hafiz, I'll take it in my stride. He's a good lad. I like his opinion. He's always positive and puts a smile on my face. And he's a great character. Unlike Eddie. But fair play to you, man. I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll just take it as it goes. No problem.
So who is your arch nemesis?
It goes by the name of Pisshead Serb.
There's no holding back there. And when we listen, one message from the two of you to get Islam on this show. Let's start with you, Eddie. What will it take to get Islam on? Just send him a message of encouragement to get him on.
Obviously, I think we're all aware of Izzy's speech impediment, and that's probably what's restricting him from coming on here. So I personally like to offer my services as a translator, so everyone can understand what the fuck he's on about.
And Jamie is your little brother that you've taught him how to kick a ball, you taught him how to play Pro Evo, FIFA,
tie his laces,
wipe his ass. Like, how can you get him on this show? And will you hold his hands and use Google Translate if need to be?
Izzy, if you come on the show, on the channel, I promise I'll hold your arm down so your finger is automatically up on point. Come on, just once. The public want to see what Izzy has in terms of football knowledge. You talk a good game on WhatsApp with your random comments after we lose, but we want to see what you got. Is your head hollowed? Have you got a functioning brain? Come on, Izzy.
Come on, Izzy. Where are you? Let's be having you.
Come on.
Do you know what would be funny, right? Do you know what would be funny?
How about this? Izzy, if you make it on the show, there's an incentive for that. I'll give you £200 straight to your account.
Oh shit! No messing about. Called out. So when give him a deadline then. Give him a deadline.
Before the Everton game, you have to come on for a preview.
Okay, sweet. So £200 to your brother if he comes on before, let's say Saturday evening. We'll do the preview. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See.
Aren't we playing Saturday or are we playing Sunday?
Sorry, no, we're playing we're playing Saturday at 8, aren't we? So we'll do the preview. Would you want to do it Friday or Saturday? Saturday day, or what's up to you boys?
Friday.
We'll see whenever everyone's free.
Yeah.
Sweet. When are you back at work, Jam?
Friday.
Friday. Sweet. All right, cool. We'll sort it out. All right, boys. Well, have a good evening, and we'll put this up on YouTube for everyone.
Nice one, Jeff.
Cheers, boys.
See you in a bit.
See you later.